put you there, actually. I might be all right. I might be all right, you know. I think if I just put this down here, you'd probably be able to hear me all right. If that's all right. Now I don't have to wear the earphones, do I? No, I don't. Are you okay over there? Do you want to just face that way? There we go. Less glare, isn't it? It's a bit nicer, a bit more cozy. Welcome to DansDen Live, number 38. And there was always a pause after I say that. Every single time, because I don't know. Again, like I said, I don't know what I'm going to say after that. I'm just going to welcome. And then we're there. And look who's come to join us. Hello. You know what's about to happen, don't you? You've heard the call. This is now his call. This is it. This is what happens. See, I say welcome to DansDen Live, and the cat shows up because you know I'm going to pick you up and give you all the cuddles, don't you? Yes, that's what's going to happen every single time. You come and join DansDen Live, don't you? Yes. I mean, he's expecting me to stroke him now, so he's there with his head, just like, I'm ready when you're ready, and he'll follow my hand. He'll follow my hand. Yeah, he'll cuddle me. There's the hand. There it is. Yep, see, there it is. Right? He just knows. So welcome to DansDen Live. Oh, it's time to get stroked. Let me go and interrupt all of that because that's really what's important right now. Let's be honest. Okay. Oh, don't put your butt on me. It's butt licking time. It's not butt rubbing time. It's not the time, my friend. Hey, Pookie. So how is everyone doing today? It is indeed Wednesday. It's hump day. And I'm thinking, I don't know what the topic wants to be today. I don't really know what we want to talk about. I didn't do the quote yesterday. I did do the quote yesterday. And the live went on for 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. That's a long time, people. That's a long time. We're not going to be going on that long today because I've got a phone call at 2. But nonetheless, yeah, we're going to get it. I'm going to leave the book there. But also today, we're not doing a quiz because today it is From Good to Amazing Day. And we read a couple of chapters from that. But in the meantime, yes, I'm doing well. Today, I've already hydrated, all of that. So actually what might happen in the middle of this is I might have to go to the toilet. But what I have done is I have got my tea. That's tea in there, which I half spilled on the stairs because my stairs are awkward and large and stuff. This guy right here. Okay, there it is, butt rubbing again. We don't need to do that, mister. You need to learn to clean yourself, and then I don't mind. What is that on your head? Just a little something. Is that just a little something? Is that just a little something, is it? That's all it is. Yes, that's all it is. So, yeah, I don't know what topics I want to bring up. I mean, I've spent some time working this morning, but actually also, I've been watching clips of like, what was I started watching? That's it. I was listening to a soundtrack from one of my favorite video games to work with because it makes it, it's nice. It's nice to work to. And then one of the songs came on, and I remembered it was actually the song they used to announce the remake of the game. And I got really excited. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna, I want to watch that again. So I finished what I was doing, and then I kind of went on YouTube and got caught up in the rabbit hole. So I started watching the reactions to the remake announcement back in 2015. So it's Final Fantasy VII. It was announced 2015. It came out this year, which is ridiculous when you think about it, because that means like it blows your mind because you don't think you wait that long. I remember when GTA 5 was announced, it was a good like 3 years or something before it came out, and I thought, how on earth only video games, as far as I'm aware, only video games can actually get away with announcing something years ahead of its release. Years, like 5 years. 5 years is like a whole time at primary school. It's a whole time in like nearly secondary school, right? Before you do A levels. 5 years you wait. So they announced this thing, and I watched that, and I was like, man, that's so great, because I got quite emotional, because again, it was a big deal for me too. And then I was like, you know what I really love? I love the end of Endgame. So I started watching, people's reactions to the end of Endgame, and then it took me to another video where it's like all the best entry moments for, well, technically, yeah, Endgame was announced in Avengers 1, wasn't it? That's ridiculous. That again was like, what, 7 years ahead of time? I don't know when it was, but it was a long time in the past. Hey you. Oh, yeah, whoa. Yeah, so the fact that happened, and then I was watching like the best entries, superhero entries, top 10, and I was just like, man, this stuff's so cool. And then I had to watch the Endgame thing again because I just love it. I can't put words into it, but I do just love it. Your hair is going everywhere, mate. Everywhere. Just literally, just hair is going all over the place. How are you, Ethan? Welcome. Have you seen the Marvel films, Ethan? Have you watched them all? Because the end of Endgame for me, I can't really put into words how awesome it is when Not just when you watch the film by itself. Like, yeah, you know, same, mate. I literally just bawling tears of joy and sadness and all sorts. Just like, oh, it's such an emotional roller coaster. I could watch that film time and time and time again and never get sick of it. Never, ever, ever. I think now that I've actually caught up with it and I get all of their backstories and all of their kind of origin stories and stuff, it just has so much more impact to it. So that final scene when they all come back just gets me every time, because you realize how much like of a team they've amassed over the course of like a decade. And it's just really, it's just like, it's just, awesome. Absolutely spectacular. It's spectacular, Dexter. The best thing you ever didn't know, because you're a cat and you don't care about the Avengers. You care about strokies, don't you? That's what you care about. He keeps looking at me like, yo, why are you not stroking me? Yeah, I know. And that's up. Do you know what? I don't know if you know this, Ethan. So I looked up how he dies in the comic books. And it's weird. It's actually an interesting, there's a very close moment where actually in the film, he doesn't die that way in the comic books, from what I saw. But in the film, there's a moment where he could have been. So in the comic books, Thanos, it's very gruesome. It's actually really violent. Thanos actually rips Iron Man in half, like full on, just like arm and leg, bang, just like rips him in half. And so obviously they couldn't really do that in the movies, so they did it differently. But there is a moment in the film when I learned that and I watched the film, there is a moment where Thanos actually has Iron Man like that. And I can't remember who, I think it's either Thor or Captain America interrupts him, but there is a moment where literally Thanos could have ripped Iron Man in half. So that's a nice little touch there, but yeah, it would have been terrifying. What's up, Veronica? How's it going, girl? What's happening? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's really good? Oh, hello to Dexter. Everyone's saying hello to Dexter. I was saying Deadpool was ripped in off. Oh, Deadpool. Actually, yeah, do you know what? Deadpool. I need to watch those films again. Those are great films. Really good fun. Oh, what was I going to say? It's gone. Gone from my head. Boop, kaput, gone. Oh yeah, so this, by the way, this has now learned that whenever I say welcome to Dan's Den Live, it's strokey time. So I'm not joking. The second I sat down, right, he's downstairs, I'm click to get everything sorted out. I click go live and I go, welcome to Dan's Den Live. And I'm not seconds, he's here. In fact, I think he's already here, to be fair. He just knows. He knows I'm going to go live. Either that or he's got used to like 12 p.m. being stroke time. So he literally comes up and he's here now. So now I feel like, you know, that obviously the stereotypical evil genius. Yes, let's talk about empowerment and spirituality. Let's do a quiz. Yes. Yes. I'm good though, thank you. Otherwise, everything is fine. I've got my. You'll be happy to know. All of you will be very happy to know that my mic will arrive tomorrow. Very happy to know. Better than yesterday, but still not great. Oh, babes, but you're better. That's good. At least you're better. You're better. Also, you have dogs, Veronica. Is that right? And you're allergic to them. Not okay. But again, I think I remember us talking about this way back when I was also allergic to animals. But obviously, as you can see, I'm fine now. But it was a matter of constant exposure, and I grew into a place where my immune system, I think, just was able to manage it. But yeah, it sucked. Are you going now? There we go. Okay, we're done. Honestly, you should see what he's left. He's left half a cat on my lap. Are you okay now? Yeah? You happy? Oh, yeah, you're happy now, aren't you? Yes. Yeah. Meow. Meow, 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 meow. Oh, Pookie. There we go. So yeah, it does get better, Veronica. Well, I mean, that's the dream, obviously. Bloody hell. Honestly, just cat hair. You just can't ever. I mean, bless the people who let pets in their house. Bless them. Particularly renters. This place actually was a dream come true. I remember when my partner and I were looking to move, we had one day and it was desperate. Like, she started a new job, but she hadn't lived in Bristol, but she was going to work in Bristol. Seriously. But she was going to work in Bristol. So we had one day, and it was the only day we had because she was really busy with her previous job, to come down to Bristol. We had a load of places like backed up, but scheduled to view, but none of them really did the thing. None of them were really it. So we were like, you know, we need to find a place while we're here. We have to. And obviously, you know how the story ends, but this place was not on our list. I found this place sat in a parking lot of like B&Q or something. And yeah, and I found it. I was like, oh, this looks cool. Let's go have a look. And it literally, we walked in and it was the high ceilings, the spiral staircase. We had a back garden for the cat, and you know, the space, the living room space was amazing. And I think she cried. She actually cried when we came out of here to view it, because she was like, this is not just a place for us to live. This is the place for us to live. This place is amazing. I love it here. I love it here. I feel so at home here. It's great. Like 2 bathrooms as well, which is the first time I lived in a place outside of my own mum and dad's house where, you know, we've got 2 bathrooms. So it's just awesome. It's really great. Hopefully you're not allergic to them. Hopefully you're not, Veronica. I mean, what kind of symptoms are you getting exactly? I swear I've got a bit of grass in my tea. Yeah. And you got no sleep, Ethan. That's a shame. Boo, boo. Are you still all right to chat too, mate? Or do you want to go to sleep? Because actually maybe it depends, your call. But, you know, it's up to you, really, how you want to move on that. It's up to you how you want to go with that. All right, close you down. Close you down. I don't need some of these things open. Close you down. Right, I've got all these tabs open for my work and stuff. You need to talk it too. No problem, man. That's fine. Okay, cool. We'll make sure we're done by 2 o'clock then, at least. And also give me enough time to, you know, go to the toilet and things. Look, EE, can you stop messaging me, please? I don't care. No, I don't care. I don't care, EE. Bye. It's still my work phone. Look at it. Honestly, such a trap phone. It's such a trap phone. Disgrace. And whenever the dog comes near me, I just keep getting really itchy skin, and I feel like I'm going to start sneezing. Well, yeah, that is an allergic reaction. But actually, also, it might not necessarily be that you're allergic to dogs. I'm wondering, because you've also got to run a test. Is it all dogs, or is it just some dogs? Hang on, I don't need my speaker. There we go. You're off. Cool. It could be that it's, you know, some dogs. It could just be because if it's just your dog, then actually what might be good is to take the dog, you know, to the vet and see if it's got any certain things. Because what was it? A cat that I lived with my ex-girlfriend. That one had fleas, and so I did have reactions to the fleas, but not the cat. So there is that. Also, if you go around other dogs and you don't have that reaction, then maybe, you know, you're fine. Because yeah, I mean, you can just get allergic to, you know, and it's not necessarily the dog. It may be the dog fur or dog dust or something. So sometimes you just need to clean the dog, and that's fine. Not saying you don't clean the dog. I'm sure you've got a very healthy, clean dog. It's just sometimes, you know, you can clean a dog. They can go outside, roll in the mud, and then next thing you know, they're just dirty again. So all sorts of different things. All sorts of different things going on. Where was I up to with this? Oh yeah, I folded the page. Good. Okay, that's all right then. Right. So I don't really go near other dogs, so I don't really know. Yeah. So that might be an answer there. And if you don't get a reaction to other dogs, is there a reason you don't go near other dogs? Like, do you feel only safe around your own dog and you don't trust other dogs? But either way, you can test that. If you go near another dog and you get itchy skin and so on, then it's an allergy, which is not really as great as if you oh, she's not yours. I usually live with her. It's just during quarantine. Oh, maybe it's dogs then. And no, again, Veronica, it's not the end of the world. It's fine. Like antihistamine tablets, You should be fine. Yeah, you'll be all right. I mean, unless, of course, you start getting reactions where it really, you know, because my reaction wasn't necessarily itchy skin. I think I said I got itchy eyes. I'd get really teary-eyed. My throat would get really tight, and my nose would get blocked. I could breathe, but sometimes it got really, really bad, and I'd have to take an inhaler because also I had asthma, so that didn't help. But yeah, like, yeah. Also, by the way, I know my hair is no longer the way it used to be, but actually I'm thinking of sweeping everything over to the other side, because this side could do with some sweeping. So actually I'm wondering, oh, actually, do you know what? Do you know, I'm kind of vibing with that. I'm kind of vibing with that look. Hey, yeah, you know what? That's all right. I might give it some. I might, Oh, I quite like that. I haven't done the other side before. Usually it's over this way, isn't it? Usually it's this side that I have over. Oh, I miss this hairstyle. I just can't bother. Dreads are so difficult to maintain. No idea how difficult they are to maintain. And right now, of course, it looks like a collection of spiders are trying to climb out the back of my head. So yeah, go over to another dog during a pandemic and social distancing seems safe. It does seem quite safe, doesn't it? It seems like a really good idea. Do it now, Veronica. Leave the live. Go and play with the dog during the pandemic and social distancing. Just do it. You know, just screw it. Whatever. Obviously, wait till afterwards. Wait till later. Might be a better idea. Ethan's on the ball here. Ethan's using his upstairs noggin, isn't he? He's using that big bit upstairs. He's lifting. He's using a thing on his shoulders, isn't he? Right. So yes, the quote today. Let's have a look through it. Let's see what it says. I'm surprised they still trust every dog that comes near me because I got bit by a dog on the nose once and I had to go to the hospital. Oh no! Ah, that sucks. Yeah. I'm impressed that you're still all right with that because yeah, being bit by dogs is probably quite traumatic. Particularly depending on how old you were as well. But glad to see you're okay, Veronica, and that you're still okay around dogs in general. At least the dogs that you know. That's nice. Oh, dogs and cats. La 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 la. Boop boop doop 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 boo. Look at he's such a sucker for strokies. He's such a sucker for strokies. He was licking himself, having a good time, and he loves is his nose ridge being stroked. He loves that bit. So you do that, and honestly, he's on lockdown. His whole body just goes, nah. And he's like, yes, please. Oh my god, nah. He loves it. Oh no, that's your eye. I don't want to blind you, buddy. There you go. How was that? And then back to lickies straight away. Look at that. I'll tell you what I did watch yesterday. I watched 2 out of 3 episodes of it, and honestly, left me quite harrowed, but I'll survive. Was the documentary "Don't F with Cats" on Netflix, and I didn't know that was Rule 0. So I tell you what, hang on, rules of the internet, because we talked about this. Rule number 34 was up there, but let's go through them. I know this is going to be naughty because, hang on. I know that some of them are really not okay. Oh, there's Rule 0. Oh, well, no, there is no Rule 0 here. Well, that's naughty, isn't it? Hang on a minute. Wait 1 second. 1 second. No, that's a completely... No, that's stupid. That's a different one. Where is it? TV tropes, rules of the internet. Oh, is that... Oh, this is it. Apparently, there's Rule 0. Okay, hang on. Wait a second. I'm just trying to find out which meet the rules of the internet. So hang on. Welcome to the internet. It's a big place. So let me show you around. You're approaching oversharing paths where residents routinely post too much information. Facebook gorge, the Twitter triangle, blah 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 blah. Hello. Oh, my dishwasher's, my clothes washer's going. What, the washing machine's going as well. So yeah, I'm just hearing stuff every now and then. Okay, I can't read out the rules of the internet. If I don't say anything for a while, it's because I'm really upset right now. Oh, buddy, what's up? Talk. Oh, Ethan, no, speak. Come on. Unless you can also say you really don't want to, unless you really just want to wait until we talk later. But that's okay. If you want, though, this is a place where we can do that if you're okay with it, right? If you're okay with it. But yeah, we can totally do that here. That's fine. Happy to discuss if you want. Basically, right. So Ethan, you can decide whether or not you want to do that. But yeah, I did Rule 0. Hang on. Apparently there is no Rule 0 of the internet, but there is a Rule 0 of the internet, but there isn't. Yeah, there is. So here we go. Rule 0. This is according to Urban Dictionary, which is a dangerous place for me to be right now, but there you go. When you're trying to figure out whether doing something is a good idea or not, there are various rules that come into play, such as have fun, do no harm, have fun again, what happens in Vegas, etc., etc. Rule 0, the rule that always comes before all the others, the most important basic rule of doing anything is don't be on fire. Oh. Okay. So allegedly, so the whole "Don't F with Cats" documentary on Netflix. And yeah, and apparently that's based off the rule 0, which is don't F with cats. So that's actually rule 0 of the internet, even though it's not really, but apparently it is. And that documentary was wild. If you don't like animals being hurt, don't watch it. Literally. And I mean that, because I'll tell you now, I'm all right generally with kind of, like roadkill. So I don't think it's great. I'm not happy about it, but I'm not, affected by it. But I'll tell you what, this documentary really got me, because I was like, wow, that actually is really difficult to see. That's really difficult to think about and really difficult to watch. So yeah, it's a tough one, but it's really fascinating and actually really scary. It's a very scary documentary now I think about it. Very scary. And not just because of what happens necessarily with the cats, it's just what happens outside of the cats, and it's scary. It's a scary thing. It's a whole, like, you don't know who you're talking to on the internet. You don't know if someone's real on the internet. You don't know how much power people have on the internet. It's all of that, and it's frightening because it's completely out of your control. It's mental. Ethan, me and my girlfriend split up. Oh, dude, because of her mates getting pissy with her and being so about it. And she couldn't take it, so broke up with me. Oh, Ethan, mate, that sucks, man. Oh, buddy, that really blows, dude. Oh, why must people be like this? Why must people be like this? Do you know what maybe might be a good discussion then? Perhaps is about that, about relationships. Because if that's okay, I could certainly talk about that, Ethan, if you want, unless you'd rather not. But I can certainly talk about relationships, because this, honestly, it's amazing to me how we can have an idea of what we want in a relationship, and at the same time miss the mark so often. And I think not just about, people your age. I think about people, my age and stuff. And some of the things, like, I think Twigsy mentioned it, a place that I'm on with Reddit as well, and I'm there too, and it's funny as hell. It's a place called okay, cool, thanks, Ethan. And obviously, if it gets uncomfortable and stuff, man, just say, like, I'd rather you were here, right, chatting with us, than not here. So I don't, just because I'm talking about something doesn't mean you can just say, hey, do you know what, can we just not talk about this anymore? I would much rather you were here talking than not. Okay. But yeah, like, for example, on our podcast episode I recorded, I was talking to a guy. He said, oh, I want to be in a relationship. I'm like, okay, cool. And I asked him, what kind of relationship do you want to be in? And this is something that I don't necessarily run with. I know it's a thing, but I'm just like, when people say, oh, I just want someone funny and honest and loyal and da-da. And I always think, like, these are the staples of what makes a relationship. You're asking for the bare minimum here. That's it. You're asking for the bare minimum. I don't think anyone, when you ask someone, what kind of relationship would I like? I don't think you ask someone, someone's going to say, do you know what I want someone who's disloyal. I really want someone who's going to lie to me and cheat on me. Yeah. Yeah. I want someone who never makes me laugh, who's incredibly unfunny. That just really gets me in the feels. That really works for me. I really want to be with someone who is dull as all hell. Yes. Give me that, please. No one says that. So I'm always wondering. And I always think, when it comes to relationships, I don't know what we're taught, right? I don't know what we're taught about relationships other than the basics. But I feel like we should really be sharing more information about the kinds of people we can be with. And then also instill that sensation that it's a possibility. I think we cut ourselves off from so many things. And Ethan, I want to make it clear, I'm not actually talking about you here, to be honest with you. I don't want to talk directly about the thing that you're going through, because I feel like that would be too difficult. So I'm only going to talk about this area of things. It might gray into that, but not too much. But yeah, like I don't think we're given the scope of what's available to us out there. So we don't dream too big and we don't ask for too much, because there's somewhere in us going, oh no, that's not going to happen, or it's not possible. When actually, I just think people get it in their heads that the pool of dating or whatever is really small. And I'm thinking, it's only small if you're trying to find someone right now, if you're trying to find someone in your immediate proximity, right? Because the moment you start to nail down the things that you really, really want, right? The things you really want, that person, that ideal person that you kind of go, actually, do you know what, someone like that would be awesome. That'd be really cool to know someone like that. Feels like they're maybe less likely to be found, you know, in our proximity nearby. They just feel a little bit further away from us. So we kind of go, oh, you know, that person probably doesn't exist, or they're not real, or, you know, they might not be around, or whatever we decide, you know, in our head. But that only leads us then to go, well, that means that I'm going to have to go, you know, searching, climbing the Himalayas to go and find them or something. And we don't bother. So we settle with what the bare minimum that we have. And then it goes down this narrative that I'm still seeing. And it just I guess it just upsets me, because it's not us asking for more for ourselves as well, right? For us. In going, I like this person. Now, I know what I will say is that back then, I wasn't really aware of exactly the kind of person I wanted. So even up until I was like 28, 27, I didn't even think that it was possible for me. It was not a thought that I had where I could go, hang on a minute, wait a second. What if I actually thought about the kind of person I want to be with? Maybe if I thought about that for a second. And not someone who's loyal and funny and blah, 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 because of course they are, because it's not a relationship without that. But let me think, someone who's ambitious, someone's got a drive for life, someone who actually wants to achieve things in their life. Yeah, that works for me. Someone who's got their own money, so they're not necessarily relying on me to have the money, because I'm trying to manage my own money myself. So I don't really need someone who's depending on me for that. What if there was someone who was very mature and understood themselves and was emotionally intelligent? What if it was someone who didn't try to hold me to the standards of being a man, like a stereotypical man? What if it's someone who understood the flexibility and the nuance and the color of the gender spectrum? Maybe it was someone like that. And I started to think about this person. I was like, you know what? This person sounds dope as hell. This person sounds dope as hell. I want to meet that person. And of course, in my head, I was like, there's a whole world out there. This person probably exists. Probably a real person out. They must exist. If there's a person out there who believes, you know, let me think. I'm trying to think of something outlandish. Basically, if there's someone out there who has outlandish beliefs that, you know, seem ridiculous, and yet they're happily living their life out there, then I can't really deny myself the fact that the reality is there's someone out there that I've just designed, which is not really that complex when I think about it, that exists out in the world. They're there. I've just got to live the life that I have and bring that person to me. And I think I don't want to sit in the fact that it worked for me and go, look, see, it worked. Everyone should do it. But more in the fact that it really gave me an opportunity to love myself better by going, this is the kind of person you should have. Like, this is the person that would work for you. This is the person that you could love and would allow to love you. Like, this is it. Because you couldn't really feel totally loved by a person who judges you for not being like a real man. You couldn't love a person fully who was leaning on you financially. You couldn't love a person. And this was me talking to myself. So I had that whole conversation. I think if I'd have done that early on, if I sat down and gone, wait a minute, what do I need? And I think back then I would have said, I'd love a girlfriend who loves playing video games. I love a girlfriend who genuinely really doesn't get involved in drama. It's pretty chill, pretty laid back. I'd love a girlfriend who was confident in herself. I'd love a girlfriend who perhaps could, you know, teach me some stuff. You know, just anything. Teach me about myself. Teach me about, well, interestingly, I did have girlfriends like that, but because I wasn't aware of what I really wanted, I didn't, you know, I took it for granted. It was a girl that I liked and they were pretty. Woo! So it worked for me. But you know, you learn through those processes and you learn from those steps. So hang on, you didn't tell anyone for a few days and you told your mates first. As soon as we did, they were saying they will block her and not be mates with her if she stays with me and don't split up with me. Huh? Oh, if they don't. She has really bad friends if they're making her choose. And then, yeah, do you know what? Yeah, thank you, Veronica. Absolutely. She has really bad friends. And I think it puts her in a bit of an emotional dilemma, because it is that case of, would you pick, you know, do you know, pick your boyfriend over us? And I will confess, actually, that's actually something that I did as a boyfriend way back when. I actually got my girlfriend. It wasn't like forceful. I just, in a conversation, I was like, at some point, you know, because we're gonna get married and have a family, you know, you may have to pick between me and your friends. And it's horrible. Like, I was a different person back then. Disgusting thing to do. But we're not together anymore. So, you know, that really speaks to it, doesn't it? but I also look back and condemn myself for that, because it's not okay. It's not a cool thing to do. And I think that that's just really, really unfortunate that that's how they be. I mean, actually, I recall, Ethan, that I remember there was a moment. I was with a partner. This is the same girl, actually, that I was just talking about. I was with her, and I remember some girls talking to her. And I can't even remember why they would say this. And I still, to this day, I'm thinking to myself, why would you say that? What reason do you have to say that? And I remember them saying to her, because it was almost in earshot of me, I could hear it. And they said, "Oh, you're dating Dan Holly?" And she was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Huh, good luck." And I was like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? And obviously I didn't ask them. I wasn't going to like start anything. I'm just like, huh? What? And it didn't make sense. And it's obviously still racking my brain. I'm like, why? What did I do? What the hell did I do? But I just kind of thought, you know what? If she chooses to stay with me, fine. If not, fine, whatever. Like that's going to be it, because it puts it in a perspective of, do I really want to be with someone who's constantly under pressure to not be with me, because that impacts the relationship? Or do I want to not be with someone who is convinced, to not be with me, because at the same time that says so much about them as well? It's just not ideal. So obviously, for me, it was a case, and this is the tough part. I think this is the toughest part, and something that is good to practice early on is when you have anyone in your life that you love. I think certainly when I was younger, and I can only speak for myself when I was younger, I was so caught up with the emotion of being with a person. And actually, I was what's considered now a nice guy. I was one of those nice guys. I'd be the world to you, and then if something happened, I'd turn around and be an absolute asshole. But yeah, I was so consumed with just the emotion of love and attraction. It was all very, like, my hormones were going mental, and I wasn't really aware of what was going on. And actually, I did have girlfriends who really treated me quite poorly as well. But I didn't have the fortitude nor the thought to go, hey, yeah, you don't deserve this. This is not what you deserve. You deserve better than this, because you haven't actually done anything wrong per se to deserve this, to warrant this. So maybe you should break up with them. And I honestly, I never did. It was actually something I started doing later on in life, where I was like, yeah, this ain't working, we need to break up. But when I was younger, I let people walk over me, and I let people not be very nice to me. So I guess it was a bit of a swing and roundabout situation. But I think it's coming to a place where you're able to go, you're really able to ask yourself, is this worth it? Is this really worth? Is that? And also the other thing is, all the things that I get from this person that I love, the time, the attention, the affection, is this the only person I can get this from? Is this the only person? The person who's also, creating a bit of friction, or has got a little bit of a challenge in regards to our relationship that has an impact on our relationship. Is this the only person? Right? And of course, I know that this comes back to me saying about people, because I know people make this joke about oh, there's plenty more fish in the sea, when actually there's not many fish in the sea, and stuff like that. And it's like, but maybe your sea, your pool that you're looking at, isn't actually that big, because you haven't gone, outside of maybe your hometown, or you haven't gone into another realm of actually what kind of person you're going for. I think the challenge also is picking a partner based on their looks alone. I think that's something that maybe a person might mature out of a little bit. Not to say you pick someone you're not attracted to, but a person being attractive as you grow up. I certainly felt that there's more and more people that I find attractive as I grew up. And I was like, wait a minute, there's attractive people everywhere. So hang on, maybe it's not about finding someone who's attractive, like, and that's it. It's not just about finding someone attractive. One of these attractive people is probably actually the kind of person I really want to be with. So it's not just going, you're fit, I'll date you. No. Are you a decent person? Are you going to make me feel good about myself? Are you going to treat me well? Am I in a place where I can treat you well? Are you also going to benefit from this relationship? Are you going to be able to accept, the care and love that I have for you? And I think maybe also all of this is redundant, because from a young age, it's about learning relationships, understanding the challenges, understanding the difficulties, understanding the great things, the good things, the wonderful things, the mind-blowing things, as well as the crap things. And then being able to move forward going, do you know what? Do you know what would be really cool is if this didn't happen again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what I can do to ensure that when this scenario kicks up, should this scenario kick up again, I'm immediately like, I'm out. I'm out. Zero tolerance. No, I don't do this. I don't fuck with this. I'm out. It's not worth it. Ethan, you said, I'd rather break up with me than stay with me and lose all her friends. So at the end of the day, having friends is better than a boyfriend. You know, that's a really, really mature way of seeing it, dude. Really mature way of seeing it, for sure. That's a nice way of putting it. And I think there's definitely a sense of peace that you can get from thinking that. And it's definitely valid, definitely valid. What I want to introduce is also the thought that sometimes, that here's the thing, sometimes that can be true, but sometimes, and this has happened, oh God, has this happened? I've seen this happen as well, where it's actually the other way around, right? And Veronica's right, but the thing, but I want to tread carefully here, Ethan, because I really want to respect what you've said there, and I really want to respect how you're feeling right now, because I'm no doubt, mate, it sucks so much, and I really feel for you, dude. I'm looking forward to us having a chat. We'll really unpick it. But yeah, like what's happened here, and this is for you to learn and move on with, and so on, is that this person has indeed, as Veronica says, got a group of friends that believe they know what's better for her. When she made the choice to be with you, that was her choice. That was her decision. She had that thought to do that. She liked you. She wanted to be with you, right? Now, her friends saying no is them dictating what she should do and think. That's not a good friend. Those are not good friends to have. And while she has made the decision, that's based on what she obviously has in her head to go, all right, do you know what? I don't want to lose these friends no matter how they're treating me. Because again, maybe she doesn't know what good friends are yet. So she's not aware yet that these friends aren't good for her yet. So, you know, that's obviously for her to figure out. And I think you've really made a very mature decision there and put it in a very mature light. Because actually, in ways that you may not see now, not even I can see now, you might realize that, holy crap, that was a great decision to make. Like, that is a really, really, really healthy and great decision to make. At the same time, sometimes people have friends, they find a partner and the friends can take them away because for God knows what reason. And actually they could end up being happier with the partner that they chose to love, they chose to be with, over the people that happened to be around when they were growing up, right? Who maybe actually aren't good. Maybe they were outgrowing those friends, right? And they found someone and like, you know what, you're really cool. I like you. Let's be together. And sometimes that can be the case, right? But yeah, like ultimately, what you've done, and I think this is what it speaks to, Ethan, is you've said, do you know what? They're your friends, right? They're your friends. They're not my friends, they're your friends. And if you are at risk of losing them and you want to, you don't want to lose them at the expense of our relationship, then please, by all means, go, right? And you ended up on good terms. That's great, man. That's really good news. Really good news. That's fine. And as long as you're still talking, I think that's great news, man. Because who knows? And this is the thing, you don't know until you really know. And you've got to watch yourself here, is that she might have made the call to break up, but it might just be like, I'm going to break up with you just to shut them up. But I'm not going to stop talking to you because there's a reason that I was dating you, right? And obviously, be careful with yourself. Manage yourself, manage how you feel about it. Make sure you're not, disregarding your own feelings in the matter, because the moment you start crossing your own boundaries, you're really going to get your heart ripped to pieces, right? You really get into a place where you become very vulnerable. So ensure that you look after yourself and you're comfortable with it all, because with all this stuff, it's just messy. I'll tell you what, I'm just gonna have to say it because it really does. Honestly, it's something that I'm just like, and again, I've talked about this, but it's my old man thinking, right? Is that when you look, and I'm wondering, should I say it? It might feel rude. Okay, no, I have. Okay, so when I hear about stuff like this, when I talk to some of the students, and when I hear about some of the stuff going on, it's not negating the emotions involved. Like, it certainly is validating, Ethan, that you're hurting, you're upset, and mate, I get it, I really do. Like, breakups, I'll be honest, breakups never get easy. They never get easy unless someone does something horrific. But then even then, the breakup might be easy, but the impact of what has happened to make the breakup easy still impacts you. So to me, there is no breakup that is easy. And it really comes down to the fact that you've created, or you started to create, a memory and a time with a person, and that person is no longer there. The memories are just memories, and that's it. And so you're having to create a new pattern, a new habit, new life without that person, and it sucks. It really hurts. It just hurts. But then when I observe some of these things and the circumstances at which these things happen, I can't help my initial response. I can't help my initial response just being, my God, this is so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. And again, the feelings are real and they're absolutely valid. And yes, you of course you feel like crap. Like, of course you cried all night. Absolutely, mate. I would too. I did back in the day, man. I honestly, I bawled my eyes out over some relationships ending. I really have. Seriously, like, exhausted myself crying over relationships. But I look back at some of it and I'm just like, man, that was some drama. That was just like some EastEnders soap opera drama, and it was so unnecessary. But hey, you go through it. And I think what I guess I think is perhaps that's part of the learning process. Hormones running wild, emotions, you know, at sky high levels. And eventually what happens is we grow to a place where we manage them better. And maybe, Ethan, to be fair, it sounds like you're kind of already there, right? Because you're aware, you're conscious that this is stuff you don't want to get involved in. And actually, yeah, do you know what? Mad kudos to you, man, because actually you could be caught up in all this. You could get into the drama, you could get involved and try and, you know, make it better or worse or whatever. But actually you've just gone, look, nah, nah. It hurts and I will cry all night and it sucks ass, but nah, no. I would rather spend a night of crying and hurt than a long-term period of that mess. And actually that's a really, I'm really like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, dude, fist bump, absolutely. Like, fair play to you, man. The really good call. Because it's that short-term pain over long-term challenge and suffering and ridiculousness that's just like, you know, at least you can get through that pain and then start, you know, being happy again and moving on with your life a lot faster. And it's just that. It's seriously, it's great. Man, where were you when I was younger? Trust me. Oh, lordy lord. There's my grass. What are you doing in there? Hang on. Wait. Sorry, guys. Are you grass? No. You dare go back into the thing. Hang on, everyone. I'm just doing... I feel like I'm doing like some weird kind of alchemy. No. Oh, there we go. Right. Are you grass? You probably are. Don't know how you got into my mug either way, because I really have no idea how you got into my mug. Yeah, so kudos to you. But no, going back to relationships, like, again, and I keep saying this because, of course, you know, I'm talking to you guys, and I think it's a bit challenging because you guys have your own perspective, and I'm at risk, and you hear it all the time. I'm at risk of assuming your worldview, right? I'm at risk of just going off of an assumption and actually, in a way, a stereotype of what your worldview is. And I keep talking to you as teenagers, but actually that's the stereotype, right? So I kind of, when I say, you know, as an adult as well, and I think what I'm trying to do, and I think I want to make this clear, I'm trying to basically give a heads up, right? To say that some of the problems that you guys experience, unless you choose to address them and go, right, I'm going to sort this out, they will still be there. I think there's this assumption that we naturally just grow out of things, right? We naturally just grow into adults and everything's gone away. But actually, you've seen direct first-hand examples of adults who don't grow out of certain really bad habits. And then they set that example that stuff is acceptable even in adulthood, when actually it's not, right? So you see adults having dramas like this, and actually they don't have the maturity, Ethan, to go, hey, do you know what? I'm good. See you later. We're done here. And they'll talk about it, make a joke out of it, like it's the culture of dating, when actually it's just like, who has time for that? You know, when you've got your whole life to live, how do you have time for that? Seriously. And so it's kind of a heads up for me to go, I'm acknowledging that you are younger, and there are some things you already know, and I'm sorry if I patronized you on some things, I really am. But it wants to say, like, as you grow older, things do change, but some things you really have to, you have to change them, because they won't change otherwise, right? Some things will just change naturally, but some things will not. And I think when you're looking at stuff that you really, really are like, you know, really don't want this anymore, that's the stuff where you're like, hey, do you know what? I'm going to sort this out. I'm going to do it. And I feel like I'm preaching to the choir, because Ethan, you've already made such a great step there. So Veronica, you know, and actually, no, do you know what? You seem pretty mature too. So I don't even need to say to you, like, hey, look out, watch out out there. But yeah. So I guess when I kind of looking at the next level of stuff, that's where I say, start thinking about what it is you're really looking for. And don't worry, I suppose, as well, about this idea, because this is the other problem, is at a young age, I'm aware that there's this narrative among many teenagers as well, where it's like, you've got to be in a relationship. Oh, yeah, I've got a girlfriend, or I've got a boyfriend. Look at me, da, da, da. Or, you know, I've had sex. And it's like, no, who cares? Who cares? Why is that important? Who cares? I actually, and I remember, it's so funny. I thought when I that the first time, right? I remember my whole. I thought like everything was going to change, like my life opened up and everything was wonderful and stuff. Nothing changed. Nothing much really changed. It didn't really. No, nothing changed. It was not the same. Like, it wasn't different. I changed in that I thought it was going to change, but actually over a while, I was, like maybe a week or two later, I was just like, well, this is the same thing, really. So I think there's also that to be wary of. I think it's important that if you're looking to really work on, you know, relationships, particularly romantic ones, then it's kind of asking yourself, you know, what kind of person would I really want? And it's going beyond the basics. I think, hang on, I want to actually look and see what are the basic requirements of a romantic relationship. I'm going to look at that. Now, as I said, oh, here we go. People only brag about what they have done to pee everyone else off. But not, no, okay, so I would say you're right to a degree. I think it does annoy people, but I think that, so actually I'm going to break this down fully, Ethan, because yes and no. People do it for the matter of status, and I understand that status becomes very important to people as a matter of significance, right? Look at me, I have this girlfriend. Look at me, I have that boyfriend. Some people are like, oh, look at me, I've got multiple girlfriends or boyfriends. Oh, look at me, I'm so wanted by people. And it's that thing of, look at how wanted I am, right? When again, to be real, it's like, do you know what you're wanted for? Because is it who you are? It might be, might not be. Do we look at that? Do we address that, right? And I think the reason it annoys other people is actually because that being wanted, being desired, the value of that goes up massively. I think when you hit puberty around that time, this is an assumption, right? Massive assumption. But the desire to be wanted by another person might spike suddenly, and suddenly, like, it's a case of, you know, oh, look at how much people want me, and look how much people desire me, and blah 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 blah. And so then they talk about it because they've in their head they've achieved this thing. And I don't think, some people will do it to rub it in people's faces, and they'll weaponize it, which makes them horrible, which immediately is like, well, whatever you're wanted for, it's clearly not for being a decent human being, because you're trash. So I don't care that people want you, really don't, because it tells me that that whole pool of people is pretty shallow. So we're good. Or it's, and obviously other people may be upset because they're like, well, I also want to be desired. I also want to be wanted. And I'm not paying attention to where I am wanted. I'm paying attention to all the wanting that I'm not getting. And that just creates its own problems, right? So Veronica said, honestly, at this age, I feel like it's hard to know what you really want, especially when I don't even know what I want for myself. And I'd rather just work on friendships. Well, no, that's it. That's exactly it, Veronica, though. So you've gone, do you know what? Like, I don't know about this area, and I'm cool if it comes up, like, whatever. But actually, that's not something I want to focus on right now. That's not something that is important to me right now. I will focus on my friendships because it's easier for me to work in that area, and it's actually an area I'm interested in, want to kind of look at and address. And yeah, and that's fine. You know, that's cool. Like, and you'll be one of those people who's not in that arena. And again, maybe you, Ethan, as well, maybe not in that arena of look how much people desire me, because you're like, I don't give a shit. I don't care. Like, cool, good, fantastic, great. Like, I don't know how to care about that. I don't know. It's not in my vocabulary, my emotional vocabulary, to care about that. But well done. It's obviously important to you. So congratulations. Happy for you. That's all I've got, right? So yeah, it's as much that as well. And this is exactly what I mean. So I've made that statement, and I say teenagers, but I don't, you know, I don't mean all teenagers. Like there's obviously people, and I did think about that when I said it. It's like there are some teenagers, some people I knew when I was a teenager who literally didn't care. That was not in their periphery to care about having a girlfriend or boyfriend. Not even close to what they cared about, right? And it was never a thing, funnily enough. No one bugged them about it. No one cared about it because they literally were not even in the arena. They weren't impacted or affected by it. So nothing bothered them, and no one bothered them about it because they were like, well, don't care. It's not a game I'm trying to play. So yeah, like it's not all teenagers at all, but I just walking in the theme of relationships, right? Well, it might be, Veronica. I think that the case there, right, and this is this could be perhaps, right. You may not want anything because you don't see anything in it, and that could be down to a number of things, not good, not bad things, but just a number of things that suggest that there is no value seen in a relationship, a romantic relationship, right? Excuse me. Like you say, you know, you don't see the point. You don't see what the point is. So for you, you're like, what am I going to get in a relationship that I don't get here? And that, I think that explains this whole thing of why for you it's just not a big deal, because you're not even in the arena. You're not seeing the benefits, or even if you do, kind of, you're aware of some of the things that go on in relationships. You're just like, so what? Okay, that sounds cool for you. I don't. So for that regard, it's just like, yeah, right, whatever. Of course, you know, well, hang on. I think in terms of should a relationship come your way, of course, that'll be the question of whether or not you decide to engage, but you wouldn't know. It would really have to, you know, I guess, smack you in the face, because you'd just be like, all right, what is happening here? I don't get it. We're not doing this. Bye. Right? This isn't a thing. Let's bye. See you later. Yeah. And you know, it's funny because actually I think I've always thrived and desired a relationship of romantic sort. As long as I can remember, I've always wanted to like have a girlfriend and stuff like that. Why? I've asked myself briefly numerous times, but I've never really got to an answer. But all I know is that I think the values in relationships really bring a lot to me. But of course, as I've gone through my relationships, I've also looked at things that have worked, things that really have not worked. And actually, no, the most important part for me, and because I, you know, wanted a relationship and stuff, I actually really thought about what I was going to bring to the table. Because it's all very well like going, oh, I want this and that. And this speaks to this kind of on-running meme and joke about guys and girls who say, oh, I want a guy or girl who's like super hot, and they're like a model, and they're like a millionaire, and they have a successful lifestyle, blah, blah. And they're like, you know, beer-bellied on the couch in their string vest, drinking beer all day, and, you know, eating unhealthily and not really doing much themselves. And that's a parodied image. Obviously, it's very exaggerated. It's a caricature of the image. But it does speak a lot to this element of, it's all very well you asking for a type of person, but you also have to think, what kind of person would that person want, right? So, for example, if I'm looking for someone who's got their own money, who's ambitious, who doesn't care much for gender roles and stuff like that, then I'm imagining I'm going to have to be the kind of person who's also not really much for gender roles. I'm going to be the kind of person who has to, you know, obviously sort their own money out as well, because if they've got their own money, I'm not going to go into a relationship leaning on them financially, right? Also, if they're ambitious, then I've either got to understand what it means to be ambitious, or I've got to understand what it means to have hard work, or I've got to understand ambition or be ambitious myself, right? So I've got to be all those things. I can't just ask for that and then not change anything about me. So I also looked at how I was, and you know, it was like, I've got to be that person in order to have that person. So it's also looking at that as well. And it's got to, and I think the thing is, it's all links together to, does me desiring that person, what kind of person would probably be attracted to that person, or what would be attractive to that person? Do I want to be that person? Because if the answer is no, well then guess what? That person ain't for me. Because if that person I want would not want the person I want to be, then maybe this doesn't work. Maybe I need to refine and look at, you know, the kind of person I'm really looking for here. Because the kind of person I'm really looking for reflects on the kind of person I know I want to be and I am. So let me look at that, right? And then it makes it a lot easier, because then you're settled. You're thinking, damn, I don't have to be like macho Chad guy. I don't have to be way bigger than I am. I don't have to be something I'm not to have what I want. I can be me. And I have a picture of who it is I want to be with as an extension of who I already am. And suddenly you're like, okay, fine. So now all I have to do is live my life, be happy in who I am. And when that person shows up, I'm ready to go, right? So here we go. I just think unless I meet someone who I do genuinely really like and care about, I'm not really bothered. I want to work on myself first and become the person I want to be. Yeah, precisely. There you go. So yeah, that's exactly it. It speaks to what I'm saying there. It's like, make sure you're being who you want to be. Make sure you're being the right person for you. And then when the person comes along who's like, hey, I'm really vibing what you're doing right there and how you're being, then you can vibe with them, and then it's cool. And obviously you're more likely to be able to keep that partner or not, because the moment that person tries to take you away from who you enjoy being, you're like, whoa, no, we don't do that. No. Either you love me for who I am and who I'm trying to be, and you leave it there, or you get out of my space and make room for the next person, because I'm not vibing with who you're expecting me to be and who you think I should be. I'm not vibing with that. Bye. Shoo. Yeah, and you're right, Veronica. It can be tough at first, and I think without the experiences of relationships early on, it can be hard, unless, of course, you meet that person sooner. Is that better or worse? There's no better or worse, I don't think, because ultimately, you either have experience and then you do find someone, or you don't have the experience and you do find someone. So I'm kind of like, so yeah, relationships is a funny one. Right, saying all that, I am already at the place, because I told you I've hydrated, I've drunk all my water, so I'm now at toilet break time. So I'm going to go toilet break now. 5 minutes, 2 minutes. I'm just here. It's fine. 2 minutes. I'll be right back. And I'm back. Can you hear me, by the way? Because I just plugged the headphones back in. I mean, I don't know if you could hear anyway. Did it mute when I pulled the headphones out? Or can you just hear me? Did you hear everything? Because that would be horrific. I hope it mutes when I pull the headphones out, because otherwise I'm going to have to start going downstairs for these toilet breaks. I don't want to not take toilet breaks. I was thinking, you know, like total change of subject, right? Veronica and Ethan, I don't know if you ever watch streams, like live streams, the long ones as well. Do you watch any of them? Because one thing I'm thinking is, I haven't really watched a full one ever, because I can't. No, there's nothing. Did you seriously, Ethan? You're telling me that if I take the headphones out, you can still hear me? Oh, God, Ethan, no. No, you're kidding. Hang on a minute. You're kidding. Please don't say this to me. Oh, no. No. No, please don't make it true.
No, please don't make it true.
Hang on.
Please don't make it
Oh, God.
true.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, no. Mute. Stop. You're not. You did yesterday. Wait, I don't. Wait, sorry. Answer that again, Ethan. I misunderstood what you said. Right, hang on. Sorry. So if we go. Oh my God, you actually can't hear everything. Oh no. Oh God, I hate it. I hate it so much. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. There is no muting the toilet trips. That's horrible. That's so bad. Oh God, no. Well, that's a unique experience, isn't it, Ethan? Yeah, that's a unique. That is so inappropriate. I didn't know. I had no idea. Oh God. So actually, what I need to do is click the mute button on the screen, not take the headphones out. Why am I? Why? Good Lord, that is shocking. Please don't tell the staff that I did that. Actually, I might tell them myself, to be honest. I think it'd be funny. Unbelievable. That is so bad. Oh no. Okay, well there you go. No, what I was thinking was, if you've ever watched live streams, basically, I was wondering, like with the longer ones, you know, they go on for a very long time. I wondered if they ever take toilet breaks. I was thinking about, I mean, during that trip that you heard, oh God, during that trip you heard, I was thinking to myself, there was a stream I saw where, you know, he counted up to like 10,000 or 100,000 or something. Oh, Ethan. So it was right in your ears. Fantastic. That's great. That's really good news, mate. I'm so happy for you. Why is this happening? and I thought, and he spent like, I think, what is he counts up to a long time. He's like doing it for 3 days or 4 days or something like that. And he sat at his computer counting, just counting from 1 to 100,000 or something like that. I can't remember. But I thought to myself, does he not go to the toilet? Because surely he's got to stay hydrated. He's got to drink. Does he not eat? I mean, eating's easier not to do, but surely drinking water is very hard not to do. And surely his body needs to get rid of stuff. So he's going to need to go to the toilet at some point. What happens? And in live streams, do people just get up and go to the toilet? Like, what happens? I don't get it. Oh, okay, he needs to clean up. Okay. See, that's what I mean. Dr. Lewis streamed for 25 hours without a toilet break. No, ew. I mean, fair play, well done. But also, like, drink something, pee something, do something. Your body needs to get rid of stuff and take stuff in. I just don't know how you could do that. I just don't know how you could do that. It doesn't sound healthy to me. Doesn't sound healthy to me. Oh God. I'm thinking, yeah, do they just get up and go? Also, Veronica, I'm glad you went away when I went to the toilet, because apparently, you probably heard it before. I take the headphones out, right? So I've got them plugged in here, and I thought that was the microphone. But I take the headphones out because I feel like that's where the mic is. But turns out it's not at all where the mic is. I don't know where the mic is on my computer. I have no idea what is picking up my voice right now. Like, I actually don't know. But it turns out I didn't mute it. And when I went to the toilet, y'all could hear everything. You could hear everything. And I played it back on my phone to test it. And indeed, it is true. It is true. Everything could be heard. I am... Oh, yeah. No. Okay, cool. Okay, fine. Yeah, it's not great. Terrible. Right, so what I looked up here, right? So I mentioned at the beginning there were like 5 staples to a happy relationship, and they're always the same. So what are the 5 most important things in relationships, right? Here we go. Here are the 5 things. So first of all, respect. Okay. Now, bear in mind when I say ask people, what do you want in a relationship? These are some of the things that they say, and I'm like, oh my God, this is it. These are essential things. You want essential things, and I guess I want to calm down a bit, because actually I guess what they are saying is, I want a relationship where the essential things are there, which says something about previous relationships where the essential things were not there, right? So basically what they're telling me is they're not experiencing the essential things in a relationship. So I'm just like, oh my God, that's so sad. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, make those the basics. Make those the bedrock of what you want in a relationship. Just automatically. Don't make them luxuries. Oh, I'd love it if my partner was trustworthy. No, make them the bedrock. That's the foundation, and make it rock, granite, titanium solid, right? Mix them all together and make that the foundation. Don't make them a thing like, oh, it'd be lovely if. No. Foundation. So here are 5 things that are essential for any relationships. Number 1 was actually trust. I missed that. Trust. Trust is one of the most important ingredients of a happy, healthy relationship. If you don't trust your partner and constantly doubt his words and actions, you will never be happy. And that's when we say trust and loyalty. Of course, we're not just talking about cheating. We're saying when they tell you something about, a story about where they've been or what they're doing, do you trust them? Do you trust that they're saying the truth? Right? Because if you can't, that's not necessarily always a problem with them. It might be a matter of whether or not you have an issue with trust. Right? Whether or not you believe them. And of course, you can go down the realms of, how do you develop trust? Can you communicate that, it's not that they are untrustworthy, it's that you have an issue with trust. If you own the issue of trust, then they are able to say, okay, it's not me, it's that you have an issue with trusting someone. And you can have a conversation about it. But it's not just about cheating. It's basically a case of, do you trust that they will, do you trust them with stuff? Would you trust them to look after your things? Would you trust them to, look after themselves, that kind of thing, right? If you've decided to get into a relationship, then you must learn to trust as well. In case there have been situations that have given rise to mistrust, then you should get to the root of it to know the truth. Oh my God, this sentence. In case there have been situations that have given rise to mistrust, then you should get to the root of it to know the truth and act accordingly. Doubting your partner and reacting based on your apprehensions is not the right thing to do. Secondly, as you expect your partner to be loyal and trustworthy, you must yourself possess these traits. Very, very true. You must be trustworthy. Hang on. You must be honest and truthful and maintain transparency in relationships. So just like I said, you might be looking for that person, but if you yourself cannot be integral to who you want to be, then you're not really being the person maybe that, unless that person allows you to do it. You can work on all of these things in a conversation, but you've got to know that you can allow yourself and they will allow you and you allow them, right? Why would you get a relationship with someone who doesn't respect you? That's a really good question, Veronica. And I'm going to say this, right? And this comes back to, again, a conversation we've had previously. We get into relationships. Sometimes we get into relationships based on our idea of what a relationship looks like. And that is a subconscious thing. We're not thinking, oh, a relationship looks like ABC, so I'm going to do ABC. That's stuff running in the background. Some people, and I've actually seen this, some people feel like cheating in a relationship is perfectly normal and fine. I am not one of these people, but there are people out there who believe it's perfectly normal, perfectly fine, etc., etc. It's part and parcel of the journey. But that will be because their experience growing up and their experience around them has been that everybody cheats. And therefore they've gone, well, I guess this is normal. I will go on with this, right? And accept this. And if my partner does it, I'll get over it. And if I do it, then they'll get over it, right? And that's how and they genuinely think that's fine, okay? So when you say, how could you be with someone in a relationship who doesn't respect you? In the same vein, and it's very sad, but it's good to be wary of, our experiences, and bear in mind, it's the relationships that we see in our parents, right? It's the relationships we've seen in adults around us, in the stuff we see on TV. The more that these relationships, these harmful, disjointed, dysfunctional relationships are normalized in our face, the more acceptable they become when they're in our real life. So when we see relationships where someone's being abused or disrespected or made fun of by their partners in front of their friends, the more likely we're like, well, I guess this is what happens in relationships, I'll accept it, right? And that's why people do that. That's why people end up in those relationships, because they're like, oh, well, this, I'm guessing this is what happens. And so we don't question it, because it's all around. All the examples of the truth is all around us. And this genuinely is it. This can be how people end up in very abusive relationships and thinking it's perfectly fine and normal. Some people are in abusive, really abusive relationships and don't think that they can leave, because that's what it is. Because maybe their parents were also in an abusive relationship. They grew up in one and therefore thought, oh, this is how it is. And it'll be subconscious. It won't be conscious. It'll be subconscious. So it won't even come into the forefront of their mind to go, is there anything all right with this? Is there anything wrong with this? Because in the back of their mind, the constant narrative is, this is fine. This is what happens, right? This is what happens. So yeah, it's very normal. And I think this is why it's important for us to be wary of ourselves and our well-being in relationships, because we could end up in relationships that we don't want to be in. Deep down, we're like, this is wrong, this is bad. But the whole world has told us this is normal, so it's fine. So it's important for us to know that, which is why I say all of these should be the bedrock, the absolute minimum bedrock of what you want from relationships. So when people say this to me, I'm like, no. I'm not asking you what every person wants in a relationship. I'm saying, what do you want? What is unique to you that you are looking for in a relationship? What experience are you going for in a relationship? Not what things would you like to have that are the bedrock of relationships? No. So respect is number 2. Respecting the individuality of your partner is another important thing in relationships. Many people begin to criticize their partners for various things. They fight over dissimilarities and try to change each other. This creates a rift. In order to maintain a healthy and happy relationship, one must respect the opinions and decisions taken by their partner. Again, very true, right? So, for example, this was one for me. One of the things that I really struggled with in previous relationships was my love for video games. I love video games. And I think this speaks to what you're saying there, Veronica, right? So I loved video games. And if I don't know what the world looks like to young people now, but me growing up, being a video game nerd was a very big stigma, right? It was a loser thing to do. It was a sad thing to do. Much like the way people perceive, some people perceive Twigsy's therianthropy, right? Therianthropy, right? They think that people dressing up as animals is silly and weird and geeky and they're cringe and all this stuff, right? Which is why I also, as soon as I saw it, I was like, this looks very familiar. Absolutely, like, this is such a shame that these people feel this way about these people just trying to have a good time. Because that's all I was doing growing up. When I played my video games, all I wanted to do was enjoy myself, have a hobby, that's it, chill. But of course, no, I'm a loser. I'm a hermit. I'm a geek. I have no friends. I sit and I vegetate all day and blah, blah, blah. And that really hurt, because I loved video games and I still do. It took me a long time to kind of get over that. But what happened was, some partners I had also believed that video games were just for kids. So if I'm a grown adult and I love playing video games, I'm a child. I'm a man child, right? I'm not an adult. I'm not a man. I'm a child. I'm a little boy. And that hurts, right? And it does hurt, because it's like, man, I'm just trying to enjoy myself. Like, chill out. All I want to do is have a good time. Leave me alone. But some partners couldn't really do that. And it was little things. It wouldn't be like, they wouldn't shout at me or be aggressive or anything like that. Little things they'd say that would really hurt. And so that's where this comes in, and because I was so used to, because I was so used to the world saying that, being a video gamer is a nerdy thing and it's uncool. And I grew up with that. It's far more acceptable now, which is funny, because everyone used to mock video games. Everyone used to say, when I was a kid, video game was a loser thing to do. And now it's a multi-billion-pound industry where almost every household in the Western world, and some parts of the East as well, has a console in their house on their phone, right? So it makes you laugh a little bit. But yeah, so because it was normal back then growing up, it became normal for me to feel bad about loving video games. It was normal for me to feel shy and unsure of myself, to enjoy any kind of nerd culture. And to the point where actually I started, when I went to university and studied video games, I would actually kind of pick on my friends for being even bigger nerds than me, right? And I would make jokes about them for being bigger nerds than I was. So I just started perpetuating the same thing. It's amazing I actually have friends. But yeah, that's where this comes in. So respect is not, again, just about going to the extremes. It's the little things. It's the little things. Are they making fun of you for liking something? Are they being mean about something you love? Or are they supporting something you love, even if they don't think it's interesting themselves? Are they still putting forward this element of, I love that you love this, even though I don't love it. It's great that you have something to love. Are they just respecting that, right? And that's it. Again, that's the base minimum that you could ask for. Because if you've got someone making you feel bad about something you love, again, don't be with them. Don't be with them. They're not, no one wants to feel bad about something they love. No one does. So that's respect. Absolutely. Love, of course. If there is no love between the couple, the relationship cannot go on for long. The feeling of mutual love and admiration has to be there in order to keep the relationship strong. Also, just having the feeling of love is not enough. It is equally essential to express love for each other. Let the person know how you feel for them, how important they are in their life, and how you admire their qualities. The feeling of being loved is one of those wonderful things in the world. They will certainly reciprocate these feelings, and this will strengthen your bond. So this certainly says to me, one of the things that I remember reading in my early 20s, which really spoke to me, which was, love is not a feeling, it is an action. And I really wish I'd learned that sooner, but glad I learned it when I did, is that you don't just fall in love and then that's it. And, you know, love is just there and you just experience it. It's wonderful. Everything's great all the time. You really need to be active in your love. You need to reactivate that sensation, because every relationship over time, eventually, that feeling of love can stagnate. And it's not that you fall out of love with the person. It's actually the fact that the act of love, and there's love languages as well, like which I don't know if I have time to go into, but actually no, I will go into, because you guys are listening. It's fine. Oh wait, someone's gone. Who's gone? Come back. Oh good, they came back. There's acts of love, and so yeah, the feeling of love can stagnate. And this is the thing. So you might hear again about adults who get married and they're together forever, but their marriage stagnates and they kind of just exist together and that's it, and the love falls apart, and you know, not falls apart but falls away. And so because they have to raise kids and life gets busy and they're just two people living. And I never wanted that. I was like, that sounds terrible, because love is such a wonderful feeling. Love is a great feeling, but we have to live it. We have to act it out. We have to do it. We can't just have it and go, cool, we're here. Because actually that also meant the end of some of my relationships, because I would have the feeling, be really happy with the feeling and be like over the world ecstatic with it. But over time, the feeling would go away and I would think that I just fell out of love with the person, when actually all that was happening was I wasn't doing the things I did when we started dating that were a response to the active feeling of love. So it's growing up and going, wait, so it's not just about having the feeling and rolling with it. It's about constantly, you know, giving your partner gifts, saying nice things, sending them a text every now and then, you know, just letting them know you're thinking about them, doing things for them, doing things with them, all sorts of stuff that are actions that show that you still care about that person. And it's wonderful, because the love languages, let me go into it now, because this isn't necessarily like a solid biological thing, right? But it certainly is a valid thing that I actually really speak to. So there are love languages, right? And basically what these are the ways in which people either like to give or like to receive love. And apparently they've broken it down to 5, which is magnificent. So they are words of affirmation. So words, acts of service, right? Things that you do, like cooking dinner for someone or taking someone somewhere, you know, stuff like that. Receiving gifts or giving gifts, right? Quality time or physical touch. Okay. So these are 5 different love languages. And you could say you could mix all 5 of them together. But what this suggests is that actually some people have a hierarchy. They prefer physical touch over words. Words, for some people, words come easily. Anyone can say, I love you. Anyone can say, you mean too much to me. So they're going to be like, nah, whatever. But you buy them something and you're like, oh my God, a gift. Thank you so much. It's amazing. Some people don't take gifts. Some people are like, you bought me something cool, like whatever. I don't really get gifts. I'm not really excited by gifts. But actually, I love it if you just spent time with me. I would love it if you just sat with me and we just watched something together or we just talked. That would be beautiful. That really works for me. And these 5 things are really helpful to understand. Again, they're not universal. It's someone made these up and they've just become really well-established elements of love and relationships. And I really like it, because what it does is it opens up a conversation with your partner where you can sit there and go, you know, what would you prefer? Would you prefer me to say things, or would you prefer me to do things? Would you prefer me to just, you know, stroke your hair or stuff like that? Or would you rather we just talked? What would work for you? What are your best things that you like doing? And then what they're telling you is how they want to be loved. They're telling you what's going to be the best thing for them if you want to show them that you love them, for them to feel loved. Because also the other thing that we do that we don't realize is that we often give love in the way we want to receive love. And we don't realize we do this. It's amazing. Like we will buy someone a gift because we want gifts. And because we like the feeling of gifts, what we're trying to do is emulate that feeling onto our partner by going, I know I love getting gifts. I love getting gifts. It makes me feel so good when someone buys me something. So I want my partner to have that same feeling. So I'm going to buy them something. But for all we know, they might not want the gift. They might want quality time. So for us to know that, we can know, oh, so actually me getting a gift is the same as them getting quality time. So actually, I don't need to get them anything. I need to spend time with them. And then they'll get the feeling of me buying a gift. Right. And it makes the relationship really solid. It makes it really together. And of course, when your partner is on the level with you and doing it at the same time, you then get things from your partner where you get that feeling of being loved and you feel closer to them because you're like, this person really cares about me, because not only are they giving me things, they're giving me things in the way that I've said and communicated to them. I want things to be given. And it's a wonderful sensation, but it needs to be done. It's an action that needs to take place, because if you don't do these things over time, you're going to think, well, do they care? They haven't, we haven't done anything in a while. Like, do they still love me? Do they still care about me? And it builds an insecurity, which can also, hurt the relationship a little bit. Number 4 is attention. So this kind of speaks to everything I just said, basically. Giving attention to your partner and listening to all that they have to say is as important as expressing your feelings for them. Giving attention makes the person feel special and loved. As you listen to what's going on in their mind and what's happening in their life every day, you will get to know them better. And this will lay the basis for a healthy relationship and bring you closer. This will also give them a sense of security, as they will be assured that no matter what there is, someone who is, no matter what, there is someone who is always there to listen to them and understand their feelings. This is nice. True. Which obviously leads to the final one, which Ethan, you did mention. Well done. Communication. Communication is of the utmost importance. Agree. Many couples tend to suppress their feelings when they are hurt or angry. They give each other the silent treatment instead of communicating unresolved issues. This makes things worse. Communication is the founding stone of a healthy relationship. The more you communicate with each other, the more you get to understand each other, and the better your relationship gets. The more you refrain from communicating your thoughts and feelings to your partner, the more misunderstandings and mistrust is created. Communication is the key to a happy relationship. However, communication always has to be 2 ways. True. So while love is important for any relationship, it cannot alone help establish a strong and lasting relationship. Love coupled with trust and respect. Wait a minute. Oh, nearly get Ethan. Nearly, because it said love is important. Oh no, so love coupled with trust and respect. You had trust, respect, and communication. Well played. Helps in creating a strong bond. Apart from this, couples must also communicate well with each other and listen to the other person attentively. This simple virtue can make an ordinary couple stand apart. These are a few things that can help build a lasting relationship. Isn't that nice? So yeah, I'm going to read all of those out and make sure that I got into that. Oh, this is a nice conversation. I hope it was a nice conversation. I hope it was good. But what I'm going to do now, unless you have any more comments, by the way, obviously, I always say before I move on, but I'm going to read the book. Let's get to it. Right. Okay, so here we go. We are into from good to amazing, right? And what I'll do is I'm going to read up until... Ooh, I'm going to read up to this page. I like this page. Oh, God, it's quite a few pages, but we'll see how we go, all right? I'm going to read up to page 41, and I'm going to read past this chapter because I don't want to read the next one afterwards just this week. Learn to be ambitious and content. That's going to be where I finish, all right? So I'm going to read these bits, and we'll go from there. I don't understand how someone can go to sleep loving you and then wake up not loving you. Oh, that's a really good question, Ethan. So let's go to that very quickly. Now, again, I guess I should always say, when I speak, it's an explanation. It's one side of the coin, right? And this coin has many sides, but this is one perspective you can get. Now, for one, I wouldn't say that a person goes to sleep loving a person and wakes up not loving them. I don't think that happens. I think what happens is a person over time slowly loses that sense of love for a person, right? And they let it lie low for a long time. And then what happens is they wake up one day and realize, after having slept on it for the final time, that they cannot stay with a person anymore because the love has not been there for a while, right? Because often when someone doesn't love someone, it's not like an immediate, oh my God, I don't love you, we're done. It can be, I don't know why I don't feel these things to this person. It can be, right? I think you would have to take something really, really big for a person to suddenly go, bang, I don't love you anymore, right? And it can be like, I didn't understand that these were your values. For example, if I was in a relationship with a person, I'll tell you now, if I was in a relationship with a person and it went on for a certain amount of time, I'm trying to think, what would it be? Actually, I don't think there is anything. It's controversial because the thing is, I think you also have to ask what love really is. I'm going to extremes here, like, you know, like they murder my whole family or something. I'm just like, well, the challenge is, right? And even then, you know, I say, well, I don't think I could stop loving them overnight. The thing is, it could be more that the relationship you have with that person is combined with the memories and experiences you've had growing with that person. You've created a life with them, right? It might, you know, short or long, you've basically created something with this person, and that creation is unique to you and that person, right? And of course, you're going to that thing that you've created is, it brings joy and happiness and elation and wonderful positive emotions, right? So of course, there's almost like an addiction, almost not exactly, but almost like an addiction to that sensation. So when that person betrays you in some way, while it stains and you know, ruins the foundation of that thing that you've created, that thing that you've created still has these positive things to it. There still is the joy and the happiness and the wonderful things that you've experienced. They still exist. And so the love that you have may sit in that creation, right? It may sit there in the thing that you did. And I think it would be really, really difficult because again, when I think about it, you can say you don't love a person anymore, but actually you can still be connected to the way they made you feel, which was good. You know, the way that you that they were with you, the way you made them feel, the happiness that you brought each other, etc., etc. I don't think it's a matter of you just wake up one day and you don't love them. I think that's probably something that was clear for a bit of time. You know, I don't think you just go to sleep and then wake up and like, oh, I don't love you anymore. Because but then, and also I would say that if that's the case, bear in mind I'm speaking, I guess also I'm speaking, you'd have to ask how you define love, because no one really can put it into words quite yet. fully because actually when I think of love now, I go back to the spiritual area of love, where it's in a place that you can't really describe and you cannot really get to, because I don't say like I can't live without that person. I feel that's really harmful in a kind of mental way of going, if that person leaves me or dies, I die as well. It's like, no, that's not healthy at all. That's not good. So it's not that I can't live without them. It's a strong desire, I want to say, to want a person in your life because they truly add to your life in a way that you maybe can't describe. And some things you can describe, but it's like, you know, they add to your life. They take away nothing. But that's not love. See, that's just a really great relationship. That's not love. But I mean, I'm guessing I'm describing what conditions there would be for me to fall in love with someone, right? Which be, yeah, they just add. They don't take away anything. They just add. They make your life plus. You know, there's more in your life of what you already have, and they take away nothing. So you think about everything you have and how wonderful it is, and then someone comes in and it's just more of that, and you're like, what the hell? How is this possible? And that's something that I fall in love with. But again, the love itself is hard to describe. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I almost want to argue that if a person says that they went to sleep one day loving someone and woke up the next day not loving them, then I'm like, that wasn't love then. They fancied you. They thought you were hot. You know, they were physically attracted to you. There was a shallow level of attraction, but love? No. Because as far as I've experienced, and as far as I'm aware, love doesn't just like this, you know, or at least not without how can I put it? Well, this is my experience though. Yeah, I don't know. Hang on, let's see what Google says. Can you fall out of love overnight? Let's see. Every emotion is gradual, but long-term realization about a person or mature thinking can actually help you move out of a romantic relation. It does not happen overnight. And if that happens, sorry to say, but maybe the person never had feelings of love. Right. So, you know, yeah. What's this? Okay. Yeah, so even here I'm reading like a kind of agony aunt situation. Someone's written in saying they've fallen straight out of love, and they say here, like, well, you need to define your perception of true love and love, because that doesn't sound like love. And so okay, so cool. I'm going to hold to this. If someone suggests that they're able to, you know, go into something with love and go out of it the next day, and I'm like, no, that's not love. That's not it. That wasn't what it was. You can have a very strong feeling of attraction towards someone. You can. That's true. You can be very, very attracted to someone, and it could be because you are aware that they have qualities that you really like, and it might be the first time or the second time, or not often that person's brought that into your space, right? You've seen something in someone that you're like, I want that in my life. I really want that in my life. I want it, right? Like you're hungry and you've seen a roast. You know, that's what I want. So it can feel like love, and we can conflate it or confuse it with a sense of love because it's a really strong, overwhelming emotion. But actually, if we're able to have it and then have it taken away like that, no. Because again, hunger, even, you know, that's hunger. It's not, hunger isn't something that we feel like constantly all the time unless we have a bug, right? That's just fancy. Love transcends that quite a bit, because it really is something. I don't think you can describe it, and only when I think you've experienced it. And this isn't being sanctimonious, because again, bear in mind, I'm saying this as someone again who actually like, I thought I was in love many times. I thought I was in love every single time I fancied someone. I was always like, okay, thanks, Veronica. You know, I always thought like I fell in love with every single damn woman I saw. Trust me, every time I thought I've fallen in love, you know. But actually, it was I just really was attracted to them. I was just really, really attracted to them for whatever reason. You know, they were really cool. They were really confident. They were obviously really hot. But I wasn't in love with them because I could forget about them like that, and I wouldn't care about them anymore. I'm pretty sure there are women that I used to find attractive that I cannot even remember and don't exist anymore in my head. But I thought I loved them. So, you know, it's actually understanding when you've truly fallen in love, and then going, oh, yeah, okay, so that wasn't it. That was not it. Okay, fine. So I think that's what it comes down to, Ethan, is it's the fact that if someone can do that, it's not love. It's an infatuation, right? That comes and goes, bum, 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 bum. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. I hope it does. Right, I'm going to get on with this so we can finish in time. Right, discover your values. Knowing your core values is instrumental in achieving your goals. Why? You will seriously struggle to be happy if you go through life doing things that go against those values. And if you don't know them, you won't know what you're working with. Take a minute to ask yourself, what are your 3 most important values? Here are some examples: love, respect, fun, stability, integrity, adventure, financial success, recognition, freedom, authenticity, growth. The list is endless. By the way, you can actually Google personal values and you can do this yourself. I tried to do this workshop with you, but it didn't go down very well. But yeah, you can do this yourself. Let me illustrate. One of my values is fun. No matter what I do and who I do it with, I have to have fun. I've designed my life in a way that I can experience a lot of it. And I'm not talking about going out kind of fun. My work is fun for me, even though I deal with a lot of challenging stuff. The people I surround myself with are fun. The physical activities I engage with are fun. My whole life is designed around it. Why? Because I know fun is one of my core values, and misalignment with it would lead to unhappiness. Bear in mind that our values may change over time. As we get older, wiser, and more experienced, hence we want to review them regularly, especially if a lot is going on in our lives. Sometimes one big event can turn things upside down. That's fine. Be flexible. It's not about what your values are. It's about living in alignment with them, whatever they are. Okay, so that's values. Next one, be the weight you are happy with. I find being underweight, and particularly overweight, is one of the biggest causes of unhappiness and confidence issues. We need two things to get our weight where we want it to be. Some basic knowledge about our body, how our body works, and discipline, a lot of discipline. I can't teach you discipline here, but I can certainly share with you a couple of facts that I always do with people before I put them in my weight loss gain programs. We have all built number one, we all have a built-in thermostat set on a certain weight. And no matter what we do and how we do it, that thermostat will always try to keep our weight on that level. If you are lucky, the weight yours is set to will also be the weight you're happy with. For the rest of us, it will always be a struggle. I know my thermostat is set on around 72 kilograms, 13 kilograms less than I am now, which is the weight I'm happy with. I feel and look way too skinny when I'm 72 kilograms, considering my height. To stay on 85 though, I have to constantly discipline myself to eat more than I feel like. The moment I stop paying attention, I'm losing weight, no matter how hard I push myself in the gym. It's like an inner civil war between what our mind wants and what our body wants. Most of us lose the war to our body and end up with a weight we are not happy with. As I said, it takes a lot of self-discipline. In my case, to eat more than I want. For many of you, eating less than you want. Number two, gaining weight is around 70+5% about how much you eat and 25% about the exercise we do or don't do. Signing up for a gym, even a fancy one, believe it or not, won't change much as far as losing or gaining weight is concerned, though it has plenty of other benefits if we don't change our daily calorie intake. The bottom line is, if we want to lose weight, we have to eat less calories than we burn, and if we want to gain weight, we have to eat more calories than we burn. There is no other way around it. Let's say you're an average male and you need 2,500 calories a day just to maintain your body weight. To lose a pound a week, you need to decrease the daily calorie intake by around 500. And to gain a pound, you need to increase it by 500. Running for half an hour will burn around 300 calories, the equivalent of a cheeseburger. Whether you run and have that cheeseburger, we tend to be hungrier than usual after any exercise, or don't run and don't have it. As far as the calorie count is concerned, you do exactly the same thing. Are you following me? It doesn't matter how much exercise, if you don't eat fewer calories than you burn, your body weight will never go down. Oh my God. I'm really having trouble today. I probably shouldn't read at the end of all these. I've talked so much. Hang on. It doesn't matter how much you exercise. If you don't eat fewer calories than you burn, your body weight will never go down. On the other side, if you don't eat more calories than your body burns, your weight will never go up. Create your own opportunities. We have two options: waiting for things to happen or making things happen. Waiting for an opportunity to come or creating one. Waiting for a better economic climate, for somebody else to give us a break. Waiting for when I'm ready. The problem with waiting is that we might wait forever. We are often only so far away from making a massive difference in our lives as making a phone call or visiting a website we wouldn't normally visit. Some of us look at successful people, successful in any area, and say that they must have got lucky. I don't believe in luck. I believe we make our own luck. Seneca said, luck is where the crossroads of opportunity and preparation meet. One of the things I found out about the universe is that when we set an intention and start to act on it, the universe, through other people or circumstances, cooperates with us. It will bring that thing you want 2 steps closer for every little step you take towards it. Put yourself out there and discover infinite possibilities. Take full responsibility. One of the biggest blocks I encounter in my coaching practice is when people don't want to take full responsibility for their current circumstances. I know that until they do so, I will struggle to help them. The blame list is long, starting from relatives and teachers, through the economy and government, to the weather. I have bad news for you, I'm afraid. The only real problem you have is you. Your limiting beliefs, lack of motivation, and procrastination. On the flip side, though, it's good news, because if it's you, you can do something about it, right? Putting ourselves in the position of victim makes us powerless. Taking responsibility, on the other hand, however uncomfortable it might feel, allows us to start the process of change. Let's accept that we're not perfect, that we make mistakes and fail sometimes. But let's realize also that this is absolutely fine, as long as we don't try to shift the blame onto someone or something else, and therefore prevent ourselves from moving forward. Declutter. I find that, as a general rule, the clutter in our surroundings is the reflection of our mental clutter. When I meet someone who is all over the place mentally, I can almost be certain their room or flat will be a mess. First of all, declutter your mind. If you hate somebody, forgive them. If you hate yourself for doing or not doing something, forgive yourself. If you don't like something in your life, change it. If you can't change it, accept it. If you've been hurt in the past, welcome to the club. Move on. Think about negativity, blame, guilt, resentment as the mental equivalent of the clothes that you are never going to wear, cluttering up your wardrobe. Get rid of both. You just don't need them. Second of all, declutter your phone and computer, the two things that are probably used the most. Do you have 500 contacts on your phone, for instance, but only recognize half of them? Well, you can delete the rest, as the chances that you will ever need to call someone whose name you don't recognize are rather slim, don't you think? On your computer, start with your inbox and clear up the backlog of emails, replying and/or deleting, and after doing so, stay on top of it. You can reply to over 90% of your emails within 48 hours if you commit to it. You've heard the saying that if you want to get something done, you should ask a busy person to do it. The busiest people I know reply to me the fastest. After clearing the backlog, move the remaining messages to appropriate folders. If you don't have folders, create them. Then go on and clear up the rest of your computer. Third, go around your home and ask yourself whether you really need all the things you have. Perhaps you give some stuff to charity. You don't need to end up looking like Steve Jobs sitting on the floor of his furnitureless house, but there is certainly a lesson to be learnt there. Not so much from Jobs himself, but from Zen, from where he took the idea of minimalistic decor. Decluttering your mind will inevitably lead to decluttering your surroundings, as you just won't be able to stand being in a messy environment when you feel happy, peaceful, and clear about your both present and future. But it also works the other way around. Tidying up the environment you're in will lead to feeling better and clearer about your future. Excuse me. Let go of the past. Past is past. I know it is so great of me to enlighten you on that. Seriously though, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that one of the main reasons I've been in a good place mentally for a while is because I conditioned myself to not live in the past. We want to be future focused, not past focused. You can't focus on both you can't focus on both, so you better choose wisely. The future of infinite possibilities, or the past with all the rejections you have experienced, all the mistakes that you've made, and all the things you wanted to do and didn't. Which approach do you think will make you a happier person? We all have things in the past we wish were not there, but guess what? They are there, and they will always be there. No amount of thinking and dwelling will change that. So why not acknowledge them, accept them, and move on? Move on to the question, what is it that I can do today to have the kind of future that I want to have? I can assure you that not one person who you consider to be great or highly successful got there by living in the past. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. What are you going to do about it? Work on your confidence. Confidence is a big one. We need it to achieve just about anything, from something just as tiny as leaving the house in the morning to ask someone out on a date. We gain confidence by pushing ourselves across 3 zones. We all know the first one, our comfort zone. Some of us know it a little bit too well. Next, there is a stretch zone, and after that lies the panic zone. If we never go outside, our comfort zone will never grow our confidence, nor our character or bank account, by the way. The magic happens out there, beyond our comfort zone, when we stretch ourselves and experience a little discomfort as we do so. We can also jump from the first zone straight to the third one, but we don't have to. I personally like to use a graduated approach. For myself and people I work with, one step at a time, nice and relaxed. Well, as relaxed as stretching ourselves can be. Confidence is a result of taking action. Practice it. Ask yourself in which areas you lack confidence the most. Practice acting with confidence, even if you don't feel it. And before you know it, things that were in your panics and stretch zones will be within your comfort zone. Try meditation. I think I'm going to make this the last one, actually, because this is actually going on longer than I thought. I'll make this the last one and then cut it off. Try meditation. I say try meditation rather than meditate, because the fact that it's good for me and many people I know doesn't mean it will be good for you. One of the biggest misconceptions about meditation is that it's a religious or spiritual practice. It certainly can be, and has been for centuries, but these days probably as many, if not more, non-religious as religious people regularly meditate. Meditation went mainstream in the 20th century. I did a meditation course. Oh, I love it. He's spelled everything mediation now. I did a meditation course after having a sleeping disorder for 6 months. I didn't know it at the time, but it must have had something to do with the job I had and couldn't stand. Before the course, there was an initial consultation with one of the teachers in which she asked me why I had enrolled and what I wanted to get out of it. I told her about my issues with sleeping, and she said to give it 6 weeks and it would be gone. Oh, really? I thought. Although I was skeptical, I went for it and started to meditate for 20 minutes, twice a day, every day. Within weeks, I was sleeping like a baby, and I've been sleeping like a baby ever since. Improving quality of sleep is one out of the very many benefits of meditation. Try it if you would like to become calmer, more peaceful, more focused, more productive with any sort of work. There are many techniques of meditation, and every school will tell you that theirs is the best. What I will tell you is that they are all pretty much the same as far as possible benefits are concerned. Different technique usually means a different object of meditation, such as breath, sound, candle flame, mantra, repeated word, or combination of words. There is walking meditation, sitting meditation. You can meditate with your eyes closed or open for 5, 10, 30, 60 or more minutes at a time. I've personally tried several different approaches. The possibilities and variations are endless. Pick the way that suits you best. You can learn it on one of the many courses available from a book or YouTube video, and try it every day for 6 weeks. Consistency is the key. Over the years, I've recommended meditation to many people if I feel it could help them in one thing or another. Sometimes they have liked it and benefited from it. Sometimes they haven't. If you won't try, you won't know. And I will end it there. I'll end it there, and we'll continue that next week. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for being part of this episode of DansDen Live. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Veronica, I hope you've enjoyed doing the dishes. Actually, I'm going to go do the dishes now before I make a phone call. So that's going to be my task, and I know I'm going to enjoy it because I usually do. It's a good time. But nonetheless, yes, I'll see you tomorrow, of course, same time, 12 p.m. and I look forward to seeing you then. But have a wonderful 22 hours and look after yourself. Be well. Mwah. Love you dearly. Goodbye.